Now, are you a golfer who gets driver in play a little bit like this drive, but as you can see, it's straight, it's playable, but it's not very long? And wouldn't you like to know what 3 simple things you could change to get this as your drive? Well, if that's the case, you're in luck. Today's Friday Fix, powered by PlayersFuel, is all about hitting driver further, but 3 very simple little changes that you can make. You might only use 1, you might use 2, you might use all 3, but I'll guarantee that you're going to pick up yardage. Can't promise as much as you saw on those first 2, but you're absolutely going to pick up yardage, and we're going to make this a real strength of your game. So we saw the difference in those 2 drives. I mean, just mind-blowingly different numbers, all down to these 3 key things that I'm going to talk about with driver. Now, the first one is strike, and I'm talking about the contact point on the club face. So ideally, we want to hit the ball as near to the middle as possible for maximum speed. It's not the exact center of the face on every single driver, but as you start getting off center, what you'll notice is the ball comes off slower because the energy isn't transferred as well from club head to golf ball. So what I'll see with a lot of golfers is as they set up, they'll kind of make that swing. And we can see that one really, really straight, but very low off the face, right out the toe. And even though I've swung at 101 mile an hour club speed, the ball speed was down at 143. Now that's just a one-off example where I've hit that very low toe. I see lots of golfers who hit it high toe, low heel, and kind of get everywhere around the middle of the club face, apart from the middle of the club face. So the first thing we need to do is obviously work on how we're going to improve strike. And I think a great little way of doing it is get a couple of tees and pop one outside the club, get the club head in there, and then get another tee, maybe 2-3 inches, a shorter tee inside. And what you need to do is practice swinging the club through that gate and missing the tees. And if you can get that club passing through there, it's probably not going to be right out the middle of the club face, but it's going to be much closer to the centre, and straight away is going to start getting us a little bit more distance. Now, if I'm being honest, that first one I hit there wasn't awful on distance. So I'm going to tee the ball up in the middle. We're going to put a swing on it, and then if I get that club through that gate and get nearer the middle of the club face, even if the direction's not quite there, I would hope to see more than the 143 ball speed that I saw off that one. So I was slightly quicker at 106 mile an hour, but even though I only saw a 6 mile an hour pickup in ball speed, we saw almost 10 mile an hour, and we can see a little bit more centered, still a tiny bit low off the club face. So again though, I've started getting more central. On this next one, I need to make sure that the club head gets just a little bit closer to the ground, and we should again see a bigger jump in ball speed. So again, we saw 106, 153 ball speed, 252 carry, and 277 total. Now, even though that strike was a little higher at the club face, we didn't see much of a pickup in speed, did we? Now, there's a reason for that, and actually, when you hit lower on the club face with driver, even though other things might alter, there's less loft, and less loft will give you that little bit more ball speed, but the ball generally spin a bit too much. So even though that was more out the middle and I didn't see a pickup in ball speed, I did see a pickup in distance. So if you want to improve strike, set that little gate up, get used to swinging the club through. Obviously, if you're someone who hits it out the toe, you'll tend to catch this near one. If you're someone out the heel, you'll tend to get that one on the far side. But if you can control where that club head passes through, certainly the centeredness of strike is going to improve. Now, the second area we're going to start getting some extra distance is by improving the angle of attack of the club head. Now, what is angle of attack? So it's basically that the angle that the club head is moving at impact with the golf ball. And it can only do one of three things. It can either be traveling down, it can be traveling level, or it can be traveling up. So I think most of us are aware that we'd like to hit up on the golf ball. So the key is, what we need to do is make sure that obviously that ball's forward and we've got that little bit of spine tilt, but then to really focus on behind the golf ball, feeling that we're hitting up and getting that club moving up through impact. So I'm going to hit a shot where I'm going to try and get hit down, and I'm going to do that by trying to get my low point ahead of the golf ball, and let's see what the numbers are like if I can hit down. Now, I'll be honest, I find this tough. Most golfers don't find this tough at all. So my low point's been 6.6 inches ahead. The club travelled down 4.8 degrees, not a very nice shape. Strike was a bit low on the face, and we can see 216 and 241 from 104 mile an hour club head speed. So, like we said, we don't necessarily want to be sacrificing strike, but that might happen a little bit. But now I'm going to really focus on trying to get that low point almost as far behind as I can, where I still feel I've got some contact with the golf ball, and let's see the difference that can make. So we can see 5.9 inches behind, so the club travelling up 3.4 degrees. It's not necessarily my best shot, but 106 mile an hour club head speed. My ball speed dropped to just under 152, but my carry suddenly jumped up to 259 yards, 274 total, and we can see there a good strike, and I've hit up on the golf ball. So really kind of optimizing with the speed I'm swinging, how far I can drive that ball. And if you are someone like at the start that was hitting it kind of, you know, maybe 170, 180 carry, running out 210, 220, you can see if you can suddenly launch the ball up in the air with low spin because of the good strike, you are going to see a massive pickup in distance. Now that's the first two tips out of the way, which I think most golfers will probably be happy with those two. But I have got a third and final tip. It's just going to be the cherry on top of the cake. And that is down to, now we're going to try and generate a little bit more club head speed. So for a lot of us, just the intent of swinging quicker will generate a little bit more speed. But if you want an extra little feel for how you're going to do that, you're going to make sure as you swing back, nice big shoulder turn, let that lead heel come up. And as you push into that lead side, start the downswing, once we're getting here, I want you to feel like you're going to drive that left hit back and away from the golf ball. So it'll almost feel like a little jump. So we're going to go from here. Now you might say, I'm not sure I can control strike and angle of attack when I swing that quickly. It's fine. I'm not saying that you have to be that exaggerated. But we've seen me there at about 106 mile an hour. So let's see if I really go after one with speed, what I can get speed, can I maintain strike, can I maintain angle of attack, and if I can, how far can I get the ball going? So we're going to get set up, everything ready. Let's go for some speed. So 110 mile an hour with a solid strike gets me 158 ball speed. I've hit up 2.7 degrees. I've got 269 carry, and I've got 292 yards total. Now that's not bad, is it? 110. I'm going to give myself two more to see if I can get to that magic 300 total. And again, like I said, it's not necessarily about you having to do all three. Work through the different steps one by one, see which helps, see which you're most comfortable with, and when you go and play, implement that. But if when you get a chance to practice, you work on things like swinging quicker, you will be amazed how many good shots you will hit when you actually swing quickly. And those extra yardages really do pay off. So two more to see if we can get to 300 total. That's got to have a chance. Even though my club head speed's a little bit lower, everything felt good. 264 and 286. So a little bit disappointing there, actually slower. So let's have a practice swing nice and fast. And never be afraid when you're swinging fast to feel out of control. We need to get that nervous system moving. It is important though that you can't sacrifice strike and angle of attack, but let's go for this. Let's see if I can get 112 club head speed. No, 110.5, little low on the face. Hit up lots though, at 4.8 degrees. 260 carry and 276 total. So I didn't quite achieve my 300 yards, but you can see good strike, hitting up with more speed is the perfect recipe to hit the driver longer than ever. Right then, so you could see that first thing about strike. Let's try and find the middle of the club face or as close to the middle as possible to transfer as much energy from club head to golf ball. And if you can do that straight away, there's going to be a pickup in yardage. Now, once you've got that strike, that second point was getting that club head moving up through impact, really optimizing our launch conditions and really getting the most out of what we're putting in. And that third and final and almost bonus tip is if you can then generate a little bit more club head speed whilst maintaining the first two, you're going to start hitting longer drives than ever before. And we all love that. We might be able to reach those par fives in two, but really give us a much better opportunity to score lower. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's Friday Fix powered by PlayersFuel as ever. Let me know though in the comments below, which of those 3 tips did you find made the biggest difference to your distances with your driver? Was it strike, was it angle of attack, or was it you actually physically creating a little bit more speed? But if you've enjoyed it, I'd love it if you took a second just to click the button below, ring the notification bell, then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. There's a video just there that hopefully you'll enjoy, help you improve your golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.